Death toll from Niger community explosion hits 25 as rescue teams recover dozens of bodies. Military confirms death of 22 soldiers in northeast operation. Afe Babalola drops charges against Dele Farotimi after Oni's intervention. And on the foreign scene, Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso insist on ECOWAS withdrawal on Wednesday. Welcome to News Updates on Trust TV. I am Lilian Ogazi. And now to the news. The death toll from the explosion that occurred at a mining site in the Sabon-Pegi axis of Mashegu local government area of Niger State has reached 25. In addition to the fatalities, several individuals sustained varying degrees of injuries and have been transferred to hospitals in New Busa for treatment. Local residents continue to search for more bodies as many people, including women and children, remain missing. It is suspected that several victims may have been buried under the rubble. The explosion, which happened on Sunday, also destroyed numerous residential buildings and shops in the village, leaving them reduced to debris. Although the actual cause of the explosion is yet to be determined, credible sources from the area suggest that explosive devices used at the mining site may have been improperly stored in a shop near the site. Meanwhile, the Niger Police Command, through its spokesperson, Superintendent of Police Wasiu Abiodun, confirmed that the explosion was caused by dynamite. Away from that now, military authorities in Nigeria have confirmed the death of 22 troops during one of their operations in the northeast region of the country. The defense headquarters, in a Sunday statement by the Director of Defense Media Operations, Edward Buba, said the incident came during a clearance operation at a renowned terrorist stronghold and enclave known as Timbuktu Triangle. According to him, the three-pronged operation was aimed at dismantling the terrorist presence with the triangle and began on 16th January 2025 till date. Buba, however, said the troops killed over 70 terrorists, including some of their commanders, during the operation. Former Governor of Kano State, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, has called on the Nigerian police force to uphold professionalism and avoid partisanship in the discharge of its duties, particularly in the state. His remarks followed concerns raised over a terror alert issued by the Kano State Police Command on the eve of Tijaniya Sufi Order's annual Maulud celebration at the Sani Abacha Stadium, Kano. However, he expressed dismay at the police alert, which he noted not only jeopardized the event's success, but also caused unnecessary fear among Kano residents and attendees from other parts of Nigeria and abroad. Kwankwaso urged the police in Kano to prioritize professionalism and steer clear of partisanship, emphasizing the importance of maintaining integrity. He further called on the federal government to refrain from meddling in matters that fall under the jurisdiction of Kano State and its people. Timileyin Ajayi, the suspected killer of Salome Adaidu, has been arraigned at the High Court of Justice, Lafia, the Nasarawa state capital. He was charged with one count of culpable homicide punishable by death, as it contravenes Section 221 of the Penal Code of Northern Nigeria. The accused was arraigned on Monday before Justice Simon Abuki. Upon arraignment, the suspect pleaded not guilty to the allegation. The 32-year-old was apprehended for the murder of his alleged girlfriend, Adaidu, a 24-year-old member of the National Youth Service Corps who served at Nikon Insurance in the nation's capital, Abuja, before her death. Salome was murdered when she visited the suspect at his house in Papalana Exit at New Karishi in Karu local government area of Nasarawa State. There is palpable tension in the Oba community of Idemili South local government area of Anambra State since the state's newly unveiled security outfit uncovered over 30 graves and a shrine in a popular hotel located in the area. The property, officially registered as Udoka Golden Point Hotel and Suites, but popularly known as Cruise Hotel, located along the Onitsha-Owerri Road, was demolished on Saturday after security operatives discovered its sinister operations. According to authorities, the building, operating under the guise of a hotel, was busted after a tip-off by a whistleblower and due diligence. During the demolition, security operatives and local authorities said they made a horrifying discovery of over 30 well-partitioned graves downstairs of the structure, alongside a shrine, as well as a military camouflage including arms and cartridges. However, it could not be officially ascertained if any corpses was found from the grave or if any arrest was made at the said hotel, as the authorities had remained silent on it. Although the state government and the police are yet to issue an official statement, a post on X, formerly known Twitter, by the Anambra State new media account on Saturday indicated that the hotel known as Udoka Golden Point and Suites, also referred to as La Cruz Hotel, was reportedly a hub for kidnappers and other criminal elements. Rising transport fares in Gombe State have become a major challenge for journalists, significantly affecting their ability to gather news and report effectively. Now, Trust TV's Hassan Koli brings us a report on how this surge in transportation costs is creating obstacles for the press.
Transport is a vital aspect of news gathering, as journalists must move around to cover stories and events. In Gombe, however, the soaring cost of transport fares is proving to be a heavy burden for reporters, making the job of news coverage increasingly difficult. Chima Azibuke, a journalist in Gombe, shared that the escalating transport fares are putting a strain on his ability to report comprehensively. He, like many others, is struggling to keep up with the rising cost while trying to maintain effective news coverage.
Usually places that you ordinarily go yourself to make findings, you just put a call through. When you calculate the cost of making calls and the cost of going there, not the same thing. Even as tariff is increasing, transportation is really higher. So what I usually do to ensure that I get what I am looking for on my medium is to ensure that a place call, maybe because I'm a print journalist, print and online journalist, maybe that could be the reason. But calls, have actually been ways, or WhatsApp call, normal calls have been ways I've been, using to, reduce costs and all of those.
I recall one experience of a flood disaster that happened in Gombe. I was the one that took up the initiative to look for, resources to move around the state, to go to those places where the flood affected homes, and I've seen for myself first-hand information of people being directly affected by the flood disaster. I've seen a woman whose husband traveled for many weeks without any means of contacting the man, and so it was just a very important and watershed experience for me as far as my journalism is concerned. So you really need the resources, and things have really changed. The cost of transportation from point A to point B that used to be 100 naira is now 300 naira. So you need to, sometimes you have to pay out of pocket, you need to cover out these resources. So it's not really easy for journalists who really want to do the work. I really want to get their stories, underreported stories out there. So I think cost of transportation has really affected, news gathering and news making, particularly in the States.
Journalists are concerned that the ongoing transport crisis could lead to compromised reporting and a reduction in the scope of news coverage. Stakeholders in the media industry are urging government intervention to help address this issue and prevent further damage to journalistic integrity. As transport fares continue to rise, the pressure on journalists intensifies, raising alarms about the future of balanced and accurate reporting in Gombe. The media community is calling for urgent action to safeguard the quality and credibility of journalism in the state. Hassan Koli, Trust TV News, Gombe.
Now, away from that, the founder and chancellor of Afebabalola University, Ado-Ekiti, Abuad, Are Afebabalola, has dropped all criminal charges against human rights lawyer Dele Farosimi following the intervention of the Oni of Ife Oba Adeye Ufumusi. Babalola, who stated this on Sunday, said the Oni and other prominent traditional rulers in the country had intervened. Recall that Farotimi published a book titled Nigeria and Its Criminal Justice System, where he alleged that the Abad founder corrupted the judiciary. Addressing journalists, Babalola noted that he has no choice but to obey the commandments of the traditional institutions, adding that the statement of an Oba in Yoruba tradition from time immemorial is a command. The Oni of Ife, Oba Adeye Ogunwusi, had earlier appealed to Afe Babalola to consider the various forces and personalities that have intervened in the matter. The need to address the menace of insecurity as part of solution to illiteracy in northern Nigeria has been emphasized. This came to the fore at an event organized by the Adamawa State Ministry of Education and Human Capital Development in partnership with the Education in Emergence Working Group to mark the International Day for Education. Charles TV's Gibson Swadigo reports from Yola.
This year's celebration theme, Digital Education and E-Learning in Adamawa State, provided a platform for stakeholders to come together and explore innovative educational strategies. The gathering, held at the banquet hall of the Government House in Yola, aimed to identify effective pathways for enhancing educational landscape in the state. Stephen Medu, the focal person for the Education in Emergency Working Group in Adamawa State, expressed gratitude for the robust support from the state government, which has been instrumental in implementing a variety of impactful projects. He underscored the transformative power of education in breaking the cycle of poverty and promoting sustainable development within the communities.
Education is the bedrock of any society progress. It is the key to unlocking potentials, breaking cycles of poverty, and fostering sustainable development. However, we know that it is time of emergencies. Education systems are disrupted, leaving many vulnerable children and youth without access to learning in Adamawa State.
Dr. Garba Umar Pella, the Adamawa State Commissioner for Education and Human Capital Development, shared insight on how collaborative efforts with various partners have propelled progress in the education sector. He discussed the administration's commitment to integrating global best practices into teaching and learning through the e-learning framework.
And that is why, as a government, when we take on board, the government has been around 23 since 2019 has consistently placed education on top of its development agenda. During the first half, it was a top priority in the development agenda. And today, in the second half, it is equally top priority to the program. Right from the 1999 to date, you can see the rate of out-of-school children. All the partners are doing what they can, but still, we have to invest a lot. Adamawa State, it is the Northeast, not only the Northeast, it is the North. Thank you for the government of Adamawa State and the movement and the executives for doing what they are doing in education.
The event also featured inspiring goodwill messages from numerous partners and engaging panel discussions, all of which aimed to advance educational opportunities through innovative e-learning solutions. This collaborative spirit between the Adamawa State Government and the Education Emergency Working Group, which is an umbrella body of all non-governmental organizations in the education sector, highlights the promising future for education in Adamawa State, ensuring that every child has the chance to succeed. Gibson Swadigo, Trust TV News, Yola.
The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board has introduced a mock unified tertiary matriculation examination for candidates below the age of 16. JAMB Registrar Isako Loyede explained that the mock UTME is not for the purpose of tertiary institution admission, but for underage seeking to test their ability. Oloyede spoke on Sunday at a meeting with media executives in Lagos, where he also announced that this year's UTME would hold on March 8, 2025. Now, he explained that the mock trial testing examination is for individuals who would not qualify for admissions into universities, polytechnics, or colleges of education, but they are below the age of 16 years. Now, he further added that to qualify to write UTME and secure admission into universities, polytechnics, or colleges of education, candidates must be 16 years old on or before September 30th. According to the DON, candidates who do not desire admission for 2025 but wish to have CBT experience could register for mock only for trial testing. This is news updates coming to you from Trust TV. Coming up, we'll take a look at the story of a physically challenged man in Jos and his journey to overcome adversity. More to come right after the break. Do stay. You're welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is news updates coming to you from Trust TV. Let's take a look at our headline stories again. Death toll from Niger community explosion hits 25 as rescue teams recovered dozens of bodies. Military confirms death of 22 soldiers in Northeast operation. All right, now moving on to other stories. A physically challenged individual from the Ricos community in Jos North local government area of Plateau State, Murtala Abubakar, has shared his reasons for abandoning begging despite his disability. In an emotional reflection on his past, Murtala recalls the painful experience he endured during his time as a beggar. Adomusa met with Murtala and filed this report.
Murtala Abubakar, 59, was born without any physical limitations, but at the age of 7, he developed a rare disease that eventually led to his disability. In many communities, particularly in northern Nigeria, many disabled individuals tend to begin to support themselves and their families. However, Murtala, who has traveled to places such as Enugu, Aba and Port Harcourt, believes that begging is degrading and erodes one's dignity.
Babu shakka da farko na fara domin me akan tura ni in janyo bara ina
often
kuka
asked
ina
to go out and beg. However, as I matured, I realized that begging was not the answer. It was difficult to break away, but I decided to pursue business ventures, even though I had no capital. With Allah's guidance, after enduring many struggles, I was able to establish a small provision shop that now supports my family's livelihood. My wives are all disabled, but I discourage them from begging as it devalues self-respect. I encourage them to explore small businesses within the home to help us support the family. Murtala's small business now sustains him and his family of 20, including his wives and children.
Alhamdulillah an samu alfanu tun yanzu ina da mutane wanda sun kai sama da mutum 20 a
With
kasar.
this business, I provide for 20 people. I pay school fees for my children. Some have completed primary school and others have finished secondary school. I have married off 5 of my daughters. For my sons, I have enrolled them in various vocational training programs, as I cannot afford to send them to higher education. Though the capital is not sufficient, I managed to sustain our lives. When asked how he feels to no longer be dependent on begging, Murtala shared his thoughts.
Ina jin daɗi. Hankali na a kwance saboda ba yana jina mika wa
I
nan
feel
ya bani ba.
happiness knowing
Ko ba
I
ka
no
wannan dama
longer
abin da
have to
kula
beg.
kenan.
I could not bear the thought of stretching my hand out to ask for charity, which is why I quit. Even when my shop was destroyed by fire 6 months ago, I refused to return to begging. I know the harm it does to one's dignity. Thankfully, people at this motor park help me raise money to rebuild my shop. Murtala calls on the government to recognize people with disabilities as integral members of the society, urging support for their business ventures. He believes that begging is not the solution to poverty. Ado Musa reporting for Trust TV.
President Bola Tinubu has arrived in the Tanzanian capital Dar es Salaam for the Africa Heads of State Energy Summit. The Nigerian leader landed in the East African country on Sunday evening and was welcomed by a cultural troupe and officials. The president was received by the Foreign Minister of Tanzania, Ambassador Mahmoud Thabit Kombo, and charged the affairs of Nigerian High Commission to Tanzania, Ambassador Salisu Suleiman. The two-day summit is being hosted by the government of Tanzania, the African Union, the African Development Bank Group, and the World Bank Group. President Tinubu is billed to deliver a national statement reaffirming Nigeria's commitment to achieving universal access to energy and its leadership role in Africa's energy sector at the summit. Now away from Nigeria, the withdrawal of Mali, Niger and Burkina Faso from the Economic Community of West African States takes effect on Wednesday, after a year of political tensions fracturing the region and leaving the bloc with an uncertain future. On January 29, 2024, the three countries led by military regimes formally notified ECOWAS of their desire for immediate withdrawal. But the text of the West African Organization required 1 year's notice for it to be effective. Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger are now united in a confederation called the Alliance of Sahel States. The military rulers accuse ECOWAS of having imposed inhumane, illegal and illegitimate sanctions against them after the coup that brought them to power. And in sport, the technical advisor of Lobby Stars of Makurdi, Daniel Amokachi, has revealed that if not for Emmanuel Amuneke's late-night intervention, he would have resigned as head coach of the NPFL side. Amokachi spoke after his team's 1-0 defeat to Heartland FC at the Dan Anyam Stadium, Owerri, in Sunday's NPFL March Day 20 fixture. New signing John Bassi, making his debut for Heartland following a winter loan move from Bielsa United, scored the decisive goal 13 minutes after the break. The hosts defended resolutely, battling fiercely to maintain their lead until the final whistle. Amokachi admitted he had been frustrated by developments around the Lobby Stars team, which nearly pushed him to quit. However, a midnight phone conversation with former African Player of the Year, Emmanuel Amuneke, convinced him to stay. With that, we've come to the end of News Updates here on Trust TV. Do not forget you can follow us across all our social media platforms and join our YouTube live stream for news, programs and documentaries. Thank you for watching. My name is Lilian Ogazi. Bye for now.